What is up, guys? Brian here with a long-awaited and desperately needed Ranger/Archer skill build. So in this video is going to be long, as you can probably already tell from the time, but I'm going to go over exactly why I'm choosing everything in extreme detail, because it's often difficult for me to explain why I choose a certain path or certain tree or put X number of points in this skill for various reasons on forum posts and stuff like that. So hopefully this video can kind of elaborate more on those positions and explain why this is the best build for Ranger. So the reason I'm making this video, one, in part to help people, and two, I'm getting this video out before the official launch because there has been a lot of people on forums, Discords, Reddit, the official forums, that claim for good skill builds or the best skill builds, and they're just wrong. Right? You're free to use any build you want, right? But if people are looking for the optimal skill build with the best play style, that's what this video is here to show, right? I'm not just someone who just played the CBT, the closed beta, and is giving my opinion on it. I'm someone who's been playing the game since day one of launch in Korea, a little bit of a break, before some skill changes and everything. But I've been playing back when we had different skills, different way to level up skills, and I've been following the path through the entire 3 years of changes that has gone on. I've consulted with experts in Korean. Good friend Tina has shown me some advice from the top ranger in Korea on skill builds with limited skill points. Right, it's 58. Well, I guess 60 if you have one in each of these two over here. So, hold on, I don't have my cursor showing. Can I fix this? I do have capture cursor. What does it show? Weird. Well, anyways, you can see when I hover over the skills. All right. Okay. You'll be able to see it. So she contacted the top ranger for proof that the builds I've been posting online are indeed the optimal builds. So here I am going to go in detail and explain why and how to optimize your rotation using this optimal highest DPS skill build. I'll kind of give some pointers towards reality, because we're not going to be capped at 50. There's very, very unlikely we're going to be capped at 50 and be capped at 58 skill points. We're most likely going to have, dozens more. And I'll explain why you want to be leveling up skills further, which skills you want to be leveling up further with those extra skill points, since we aren't limited by the closed beta. I guess before we get started, AP wise, your ability points, you want to dump them all into dex till you get 100, and then you put them in crit rate. If you put them all in crit rate before dex, your attack number will increase in your character info window. Doesn't mean it's better, right? All dex is better until you hit 100, or I think there's some caveats. Like everything I say is caveats based on there's some caveats for these optimal builds, and you kind of have to understand the skills and know when to apply those things. I'm probably not going to go into everything because I don't know everything myself. It depends on the gear and stuff you have. But later on, when you can get crit damage and crit rate gear, putting your AP into crit might be better than dex. But for starting off, for probably at least a year, you're going to just want to dump everything in dex. But yeah, going into the actual skill build now. So rapid fire or rapid shot is our main attacking skill, right? So we want to max this first, right? This is your main attacking skill. Everyone kind of understands this. Everyone kind of agrees on it. Max that out, right? That's your main attacking skill. Now your second best attacking skill is arrow rain, right? So I'll unlock arrow rain. We need 2 points in arrow barrage, and we do want to max this. I know some skill builds I posted. I had this at level 1. I was wrong about that. You do want this maxed These are your two main attacking skills that deal the most damage. Now let's start talking about Aerostorm, because this is where there's a little bit of controversy. Some people think you don't use Aerostorm at all. Actually, there's people who think you don't use Screwdriver Shot, which is ridiculous. We'll get to that later. So first you want to be using Aerostorm and Rapid Shot. Now, Aerostorm has this nifty feature of if you hold down the skill key, it'll kind of charge it up and it'll cast it 7.5 meters in front of you. I don't think you can see the tooltip off screen, but it casts it in front of you, right? So in order to maximize your DPS, you never, ever, ever want to do that. So there is this buff right here. If you're 4 meters away from any enemies, you get an extra 3 spirit restoration. That's great and all, but it doesn't mean you can never be in melee range, right? It's not even that big of a deal if you're in melee range. And in fact, you need to be in melee range in order to optimize your playstyle with the skill build, right? Because you want to be in melee range to be able to cast Aerostorm, instantly without losing any time of holding it down. Right? So when you do that, you can kind of, what I like to do is I like to hop in while shooting Rapid Shot, get in range of Aerostorm, cast Aerostorm, and either Evasive Salvo out. Right, so you want 1 point here. I'll talk that in a little bit. So you want, Evasive Salvo out, or depending on the boss attacks that are happening, you can Eagle Glide to a better location, things like that. And kind of a general note, it's kind of a bad, I don't know where to talk about this, the best place to talk about this, but basically when you're, when this is on cooldown, and you're sitting back, turreting away with your Rapid Shot, what you want to be doing is kind of standing on the middle of a block, right? Because it's a voxel type game, kind of like Minecraft, where it just means everything is kind of in blocks. So you want to be standing on the middle of a block, right? You don't want to be standing in between two, because when you get targeted with some skills, right, a lot of them are the floor panels, like especially in Chaos Devorak, the yellow lights up. It's just easier to dodge things if you're standing in the middle of a block than like in between two. That's a little tip. I actually don't know how much worse off you'd be if you don't do that, but it should be fine. Either way, but standing in the middle of a block, I think is just better. So next thing you want to do, conditioning. This just straight up increases your physical attack. You want to max this out. This is pretty, 6.4% physical attack and 10% move speed. That's really nice. Now, the next question is, do you want to max Sharp Eyes? Or do you want to maximize your own damage? Right? Okay, so I'll talk about this. So Evasive Salvo is your #1 dodging ability. Takes a lot of practice. I forget how difficult it is to actually learn this, how to use this effectively. But people complain about how Eagle Glide takes 80 stamina, right? It takes 4 bars out of the 6, and you can't double cast it, and people die and say, oh, Rangers has the worst mobility ever. Not necessarily true. Rangers mobility, I think, is one of the better ones. It's definitely better than Heavy Gunner, because we have two evasive skills, or 2 movement skills. Basically, just practice how to use this. It just, right, it moves you back a tile and a half or something. Just figure out how to use it, practice in different boss fights, right? It's different how you want to use all your skills in every fight. This is extremely important in survivability and increasing your DPS. As opposed to, like, say you're in the middle of a Rapid Shot and you need to dodge the yellow tile from Chaos Devorak that shows up. Let's say you're on the edge of one of the yellow tiles, so the one behind you is safe, right? You just cast Evasive Salvo and plop, you're good. It cancels the skill, right? It cancels the animation, and you're back a tile, you can just go right back into attacking, right? Kind of very little downtime. Whereas opposed if you don't use this, so you gotta stop attacking, so you have to wait for the current animation to finish, then you have to walk off the platform, then you gotta turn back around, and then you can start casting it again, right? That's just wasted time, right? It's wasted damage, wasted DPS loss. You don't want to do that. You want to be mastering the movement of this. Right now, let's say for some reason you're out of position, you're standing in between blocks, and the yellow attack is kind of smack dab in the middle of every your character. Right, that's obviously not an ideal situation, so what you're going to want to do is eagle glide out of it. Like just different situations like that where if your evasive salvo wasn't going to cut it, you can eagle glide out, right? So it's just a matter of practicing and getting these skills worked out. So with the limited skill points, one thing that I didn't realize was that screwdriver shot, you'll need 1 point in this. You don't actually need to max this one out because it gives you 3 extra points to put somewhere else. You want to max this, right? This gives attack speed and increases damage, right? So how much does this? So 372. Right, this gives... Let's see what this does. Improved screwdriver shot can be cast in snipe mode, but cannot be reinforced. That means so it's just using the lowest damage. Enhance. But anyways, this is what you want to do for this skill build. You definitely want a max precision shooter. Right, when we get more points, what you're going to want to put it in is either precision shooter or screwdriver shot, or where you're going to want to right after 50 cap. Right, so this is so precision shooter, which is screwdriver shot, instacast, arrow storm, and rapid shot are your 3 main attacking skills. Right, you use these 2 off cooldown. You know, when appropriate. If it's a bad situation like Chaos Devrak's about to jump to switch platforms, you don't cast this because none of the arrows are going to hit, and that's just wasted time. Right, you're on cooldown now. You're not doing any damage from it when you could have been shooting rapid shot. Right, so don't always have to use them directly off cooldown. Just use them, you know, as soon as they're off cooldown, when you get the maximum efficiency out of it. This one hits pretty fast. You pretty much always want to be using this right off cooldown. So we want to save 9 points for this, so I can use 8 points. So next thing what you want to do put points in like this. Right, this unlocks this. Your goal is to kind of unlock this skill here. Right, so when do you use sharp eyes versus when do you not use sharp eyes? You use sharp eyes when you're the only ranger in the party. Right, or if there's multiple rangers in the party and you were decided upon to be the sharp eyeser, right? Even in 4-person parties, definitely 10-person parties, no doubt about it, but in 4-person parties, this is also probably a damage boost overall. You'll be doing a little bit lower damage, but just overall everyone will be doing more damage. Right, so max this. So this is kind of the build you want to be using. For when you're in a party. Actually, there's a little modification here. I'll kind of walk through my thought process on that in a little bit. But I need to finish talking about when you use sharp eyes. So use sharp eyes when you're in a party, right? And you're in a party, yeah. So that's it. The main benefit comes from the accuracy, right? Increases accuracy by 4, right? Increases crit rate and stuff as well. Crit rate and crit damage, I think. Yeah, but the main reason you're using it in closed beta was for the accuracy, right? Because if you land more of your hits, you're just doing straight up more damage. The crit buff is also nice, but it doesn't make that big of a difference at this level of gear, right? Before we have all this crit damage gear. Yeah, so that's about it, right? But say you don't need to use sharp eyes or you're soloing, right? You have these 9 extra points to work out. Actually, hold on, I'm not done talking about this build. Okay, so now the next question is, if you're running this build and you're running into the issue of where you're running out of spirit, right? So you can't cast rapid shot, right? That's an issue. You don't want to be running into that. What you can do, so that ends up happening based on your attack speed for the most part. If your attack speed is above a certain level, you're going to be shooting faster, using spirit more frequently. Let's say your positioning has been not the best. You're not taking full advantage of the extra 3 spirit restoration. You're running out of spirit. So what we want to do is get some points into this. From here, you want to take it out of conditioning, right? This increases by 1 for every level you have, and it deals some extra damage. So what you can do is take points out of conditioning until you get an Eagle's Majesty level that's good enough to keep your spirit at decent levels, so you don't end up running out, right? Because typically what you have is your rapid shot. You're running low. These come off cooldown. You use them, and then by the time you're done using them, your spirit's restored, and you can go back to turret mode. Sometimes you get, right, the PvP gear, you get like 10% attack speed. You're gonna be running a little short, so you're gonna want some points in Eagle's Majesty. And you can take him out of conditioning. That's fine. That's where I would take him out of. Maybe even Arrow Storm. But this is just, I think you need to keep these maxed. Right, but again, we're going to be having more skill points on official launch, right? Getting past level 50 is going to be pretty easy. And then you want to focus on this tree, right? Yeah, so just take points out of conditioning and put them in Eagle's Majesty until you stop having spirit issues. That's kind of your own judgment based on your own play style and how things are going for you. There's no real guide for that. It's, you just got to get a feel for it. Okay, so now let's say you don't need the sharp eyes, right? Someone else is doing it. Gonna want this maxed, and then again you're just gonna put the points into Eagle's Majesty. Crap, can I do this? Nice. Yeah, so you're gonna put points into here, right? Then you're never gonna have SP issues. It might. I don't actually know if it'd be better to put them in Screwdriver Shot. I think level 4 this is kind of close to the build I was using. I was wrong about leveling the skill up further. You don't really want to have the skill above level 3 until later on. This might be better. I don't actually know for this one. It might be better to leave this at 1, and then it might even be better to put the 3 points in here for the extra dex. So I don't actually know at this point. For this build with the last three points, I don't know whether it's better to put them in Eagle's Majesty, Screwdriver Shot, or Bronze Eagle. I don't actually know. Personally, what I would do is, if level 4 is enough to keep me from running out of spirit, I would put him in Screwdriver Shot, just because I like the skill. It does a lot of damage really quickly. I think it would be best to put him in here, but that's my opinion right now. I don't actually know if that would be best. Everything else I said, kind of general guidelines, is going to be your optimal skill build, right? It depends. You need to be able to play properly in order to maximize it, right? If you don't know how to work in Arrow Storm and Precision Shooter, what you're going to end up finding out is that if you go this tree to unlock Agile Archer, you're going to be doing more damage. But this is not my opinion. This is fact. This version of a build, properly utilizing Screwdriver Shot, Arrow Storm, Rapid Shot, Eagle's Majesty, all these skills, right? Using this with 1 second or less on your Bronze Eagle buff, you cast this, right? Optimizing all of that 100% of the time in any situation, no matter what, it will be better than the Agile Archer build. That's not opinion, it is fact. Right? If you don't know how to play the class, perfectly yet, right? Because it took me years to learn how to do this properly. You might want to go Agile Archer build instead of this tree. That could give you could end up seeing better damage off of that than going this build if you don't know how to use it properly. But I guarantee you, any situation, I will outdamage someone using Agile Archer build with this build. Any gear level, any situation, any boss, this will win. All right, now, again, I've said this before, I say it all the time. I'm just providing information out there, right? If you don't agree with me, that's fine. You can use whatever build you want. But I guarantee you, at a proper skill level, this build will always, hands down, 100% of the time, beat out any other build. This general methodology. So the Aerostorm Precision Shooter over Agile Archer and this third tree. I think that about wraps it up for this very long video. Hopefully you guys learned something. Yeah, I think I talked about how you're going to want to start maxing out higher levels of precision shooter and screwdriver shot with your extra points. So this tree, right, piercing's good. Piercing's great. That's awesome. This tree doesn't become good until a little bit after level 70, right, when you start maxing out all these other skills. Then you can start putting them into Agile Archer, right? Because you're going to want to like max out this tree. You're going to want to max out Precision Shooter, Screwdriver Shot, and then you can put in Sharp Eyes, right? I think I would rather max out everything else and Sharp Eyes before even touching this tree. Now, okay, we'll note here, I don't know if that's optimal. I definitely think maxing out Screwdriver Shot and Precision Shooter before touching this tree is 100% optimal. I think you should also max out this tree, but this is where I'm not sure, right? So once you max these two, it might be better to start going for piercing. Again, this also depends on your gear level at that point. I would personally start maxing this tree, and then maybe even max Sharp Eyes before touching Agile Archer. You just have to invest too many points to get this, right? 10 points, 14 points, 18. We have to invest 18 points to unlock this, where that's just so much more useful in unlocking new skills and all this other stuff. It's just, right? Okay, this is a simplistic build. If you want to just sit there and only use Rapid Shot, go ahead and unlock your Agile Archer, get some piercing, have some fun. Right? I had nothing wrong with that, but this build will 100% of the time do more damage overall. Yeah, I hope that I covered everything. This is going to be a very long video, but that's the point. I might include some timestamps. Well, never mind, this is too late for this. They'll be in the description anyway, timestamps for builds. Maybe not. Probably not. I lied, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, so hopefully you guys can kind of understand where I'm coming from now with a more detailed, very lengthy description of why I choose this build, and why it is factually better, not opinion. Right? I can't stress that enough. Right? This isn't my opinion. This is, hard tests, references from the top ranger in Korea. There's no arguing that this build is the best. Well, I guess I'll actually end it here. So thank you guys for watching. I look forward to official release. We got name reservations tomorrow. I wonder if I'll upload this video in time. We got an announcement on the 21st for the official release date, and I'm hyped AF for launch. And I hope to see you guys there. Peace.